I was talking to someone recently who said that a good way to get into the rhythm of producing more content is just vlog your life. I say, like, my life is pretty boring. I don't really go many places. And they're just like, it doesn't matter. And just roll out of bed, do like, a minute or two of recording, go do whatever place you're at, whatever you're doing at the time, just flip on a camera, talk to it for like a minute or 30 seconds, see what happens. Even if you don't have anything substantial to say or talk about, just get in the mode of hitting those beats. That's what I'm trying to do. So I mean, like, even if I look like trash today, even if I'm not doing anything today, this is gonna be day one of trying that experiment. So I guess the theme that I'm gonna return to all day is just, even if you're not good at something, just start. And you'll figure out shit as you go. So, let's see how much that theme comes up today. So I just got done running. Running was something I started last year just because I was told to do more cardio. And there's a boardwalk like right where I live. And the view's pretty nice. Well, when I first started running, I was a little, deterred. Because, the path I'd chosen, which is just start in the park and run to here, was, winding me, and I was so tired. This year, I started running pretty early in the summer. I would start running along, shorter runs, and adding more length until I got to the path that I, wanted to start with initially. And it's, 40 degrees out right now. We're in the middle of October in the Midwest, and so it's not that warm. But I'm here in a really thin jacket and a tank top because thermoneogenesis is a thing when you do cardio all the time. And that's one of those things where if you just keep hitting the beats, if you keep doing something when you say you're gonna do it and do it regularly, it might be hard at the beginning and you might not be doing as much as you want to do. But if you get yourself into the rhythm, it gets easier over time. And now, what used to be sweater and coat weather for me is now tank top and paper thin jacket weather. Progress is possible. I think routines are really necessary for self-development. If you're able to hold yourself to anything, the non-stop repetition of temporal cycles that we measure is a pretty good place to start. If you're running every day, every other day, your body's gonna be ready for it more than it is if you were just doing it randomly. If you get in your head that you do something at a certain time of day, it stops becoming a thought, it starts becoming a pattern. And putting all of those expressive actions, the fifth harmonics, and sorting them in, contained 6-plane hexagonal grids, I'm talking about organizing your actions into routines and habits. It changes something that is an undercurrent of your conscious process. It gets your body chemistry in line to do what you want it to. When I was out of high school and college and didn't really have a thing to go and do every day, I would just sort of lay around in bed. I'd grab my laptop off the head of the bed and roll over and just be on it and shift positions the whole day. And that was just most of my life. I had a desk at the end of my bed, and sometimes I'd sit there because I got tired of laying down and wanted to slouch instead. I guess a lot of people in their early 20s, when they don't really have much to do, and they think adult life is, you're free to do whatever you want. You don't have to go do the things that all the adults want you to do. But you don't realize that whole system is set up to give you some kind of rhythmic routine. And you'll slowly start to realize as you don't have anything to get out of bed in the morning for, that you need those things to be mentally healthy. It doesn't have to be hard work initially. It can just be, a purpose, a reason to not roll over in bed again. And then as you get older, you meet this idea of what needs to be done. And even if you don't have the energy to get up and do something, you're finding that there's things you have to do every day. I just look at that sky. It's like a perfect wave interference pattern. It's so uniform. The wind is doing one thing today. It's like kinematics. It's crazy. Anyway, getting myself up and going was one of the steps to, meeting those things that I felt like I needed to do. Then I realized if I continued on the same path, and kept improving myself and kept improving my willpower, doing things, just like stretching and exercise, taking vitamins. That introduced me to the ability to do more of what I wanted to do out of life. I was realizing that these things that might seem like wastes of time, going for a 15-minute run, stretching, doing yoga, meditating, all of those served a purpose to draw like a rhythm in my day-to-day life, and I was harmonizing with the rising and setting of the sun, so to speak. We got vandalized recently by someone who seems to know what I'm about. That might be the mark that saves me when the plague comes through, I'm not sure. Gotta find my keys. Echo. Home sweet home. And bless this mess. Another rhythm that you have to get into as an adult is checking things all the time. There's always bills, there's always like stuff that comes up, and you need to be able to like know when that's gonna hit. Something that I had to try pretty hard to get into the habit of checking was actually this checklist app called Habitica, which used to be Habit RPG. The danger of like trying to take on too many things though, especially when you're starting from a place where you're only rolling over in bed and getting on your laptop every day, is that you can very easily take on too many things that you think a normal person should be able to do. If you're not in a normal scenario, you might not be able to meet all of those expectations right away. Initially, when I first started using like checklists and stuff, I would beat myself up at the end of the day because there would be some simple things that I would miss. And I think what's important is like hitting the rhythm and hitting stuff every day is important, but you don't want to put too much on your plate and overwhelm yourself too quickly. Your body and your mind need to be able to adapt to what you're doing to it. Now I have a long ass list of like a morning routine, my run, scanning work, which is what I'm about to do, washing dishes, eating, night routines, work uploads, all of that is on like my dailies list. And a couple years ago, that would have been impossible to hit all of those things every day. And another thing that can happen is if you have so many things to do a day, going back to your checklist app and reporting that you've done those things is another habit you have to remember. It took me like 5 years to incorporate this into like my day-to-day thing. And I still forget sometimes. Even if I do everything that's on my list, I'll just forget to go to the app and check them off. And then I'll die in the app, which can be a bit discouraging. But, when you get to a point where you know that you're keeping up with everything, you know that that is just a minor administrative malfunction, rather than something indicative of a complete personal or moral failing. I have a lot to say about this topic. My archiving for today was going through a bunch of these old souvenir programs they're just kind of sitting in a pile. Tomorrow we're putting them in plastic stuff. We got Henry V, we got The Merry Widow, we got Brigadoon, what's like a one y'all would know. Where's Oklahoma? There it is. We got Oklahoma, like the original program. It's so crazy living in a historical theater and constantly being surrounded by the history of theater. So I decided I was gonna start doing vlogs, and when my dad showed up, he brought this Principality of Sealand registration of, like, nobility. I own land in the Principality of Sealand. The first vlog thing that I ever did on the internet, I'm pretty sure, was about getting this thing in the mail. I forgot about it. It was just sitting at home in, like, a desk that was moved. I own this too. My friend has a gift for me because of a thing I did yesterday.
Oh, so do I have a present for you?
Oh boy. Yeah, This is so tall.
That's why I didn't want it.
It's got a crab on it. God. I got a mug. It's got a crab on it. Whenever I voice Carcat, I'm just gonna like fill this with like 2 bags of throat coat and licorice tea. Oh wait. Yeah. You can reside safe at. Oh no. There. Thing I do every day that I keep fucking missing days on. It's a countdown to my next birthday, and I draw this calendar on my fridge just to like make it a personal like material thing more so than like just a calendar. And then this is Anglic like lunar calendar shit. It's like mythos stuff. That's just a me thing. And so top half of my fridge is kind of a dry erase board mess, but you know, hey. And this is also in a conlang because I'm crazy. I also take inventory of everything in my fridge in conlang. And then like every time I go shopping, I just wipe all this down. There were probably more beats to hit throughout the day than I was able to, but it is now like after 8. It's 8:30. But right now I just fucking, you know, made my dinner. Just a bunch of shitty looking stir-fried vegetables covered in soy sauce and lemon juice. Cilantro for taste. Chopped up all rustic, cause fuck you. Hit a couple snags with just, energy. But I've been working on and off and getting things done on and off all day, so. It's that thing I was talking about this morning. I'm hitting stuff that I need to do. I'm gradually working in things that I'm trying. And I know that if I start hitting these rhythms more regularly, it's gonna be a lot easier. So, for the rest of the night, I'm probably gonna eat and listen to people argue on TV and clean up a bit and then practice guitar until I pass out.
But I know what's keeping me up. It's keeping me up. Feels like I'm out of time. I could've slept more when I had it. All the things I took for granted out of my mind. God's back and made me sleep, but I know it's keeping me up. It's keeping me up. I know what's keeping me up.
Yeah.
And many more sides. However, these monsters don't arise against the laws of nature, but they come about in a certain way with their own peculiar disposition, since the natural law is an arrangement of God.
Oh, look at that. Androgynous people are an arrangement of God, so says the 9th century.
Monsters seem to introduce a monstrous branch to the natural lineage of the
Call,
entire
I mean,
race.
you can call me a monster,
Monsters who
it's
were
fine.
mentioned above, and many
You just
more
admit that I'm
besides,
here.
which take a long time to
And
list.
that's more than people can do these days.
Knees and the back to front.